welcome to this week's ScubaTube. In today's show, we're going to talk about stranded divers, a World War II bomber being found off the coast of Malta, archaeologists find remains of a World War II soldier, and a few other stories. So let's dive in. So 2 days underwater. Zisco Garcia, a trained and experienced cave diver, found himself in a life-threatening position. So on a routine dive, exploring and mapping the underwater cave system of Mallorca, something went very wrong. So this happened back in April this year, but he's finally coming forward and actually talking about it. So he was making his way back from the caves when he realised that his guideline had either broken or slipped. He spent the next hour trying to figure out what had happened and to see if they could revive the guideline, but luck really wasn't on his side. By that time, his air was running low, and his diving buddy was also running dangerously low.
Yeah, so they were both
so fate was on their side as Zisco found an air pocket inside the cave.
That's good.
He stayed there while his buddy headed off to go get help, and he just kind of stayed there. Bless him.
Just sat there. I say chilled out. There was a ledge as well, so he wasn't in the water all the time, so he can kind of perk himself up a bit.
So the water in the pocket was fresh, it was drinkable, and he just sat there, waited for his buddy to go get help.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of stuff when you've got a lot of time on your hand, you think about a lot of stuff, you hear lots of noises, you hallucinate. Scary stuff.
It took a long time for the rescue team to come pick him up. Due to poor visibility, but the team eventually did find him. I think they started off trying to drill straight down.
Yeah, they wanted to try and get him some food and food, and go, yeah, we're here, don't worry. But apparently those drilling noises freaked him out even more, because obviously he was hallucinating anyway. So hearing these noises was just like, what is going on?
60 hours after he stepped into the caves, he finally stepped out.
60 hours.
That's a long time. So once he's feeling 100%, he's going back into the water because hands off to him. And he said that he stated that this kind of diving, it's in his blood.
It's in his blood, man. It's good.
Raw. 60 hours.
60 hours
by yourself, because your torch wouldn't last that long.
No, he had to either turn them off. The only time he used his torch is when he needed to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that, I don't know, wasn't doing it on himself, I guess. I don't know.
Monsters.
Yeah, monsters, definitely monsters. Oh, yeah, I couldn't imagine it. I mean, I'd get bored sitting with James, our producer, after an hour. So 60 hours. Anyway, missing diver. So Miss Rinta Paul Makam, hopefully I pronounced that well, went missing last Thursday as she failed to surface from her dive. She was a part of a group of 16 female divers exploring the waters off of Komodo Island. So family members have now started a campaign on Go Get funding to help further the efforts with sea and air. So far, the page has raised over $50,000, which is good, but just to rent a helicopter for one day is $60,000. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to get $250,000 so a full team can go out and search for the body. So fingers crossed that they raise the money and that they find her. Yeah, scary scenario, happens quite a lot now. It's a good thing about these GoFundMe pages, you can do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on how long that person's been missing, when does it become a search and rescue to a recovery? Yeah, but hopefully it all works out.
Yes, on some slightly lighter news, freediver Jacques de Vos, who is a freediver, has captured some truly amazing images of killer whales, or as we call them, orcas. So Jacques is a professional underwater photographer and freediver as well, and what he loves to do most is freedive off the coast of northern Norway. So I've been diving off northern Norway.
What you're saying, it's nice and roasty. You just need your Speedos.
Yeah, just Speedos and goggles. So he was in luck last weekend when he dived into a pod of orcas and took some stunning photos. DeVos has never had any incidents when filming orcas, stating orcas have quite a reputation for being very efficient and at times cruel hunters, which makes it incredible to see how cautious and gentle they are when we're in the water. I think there is a statistic where there's never been a single case of anybody in the open water being attacked by an orca.
Yeah.
It's only in confined space.
When we decided to shove them in a pool, that's about that big.
Yeah.
And like, do tricks, backflips. So naturally, they're going to be annoyed.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in their natural habitat. They have no reason to.
No, they don't know what you are, so they just kind of cruise around. So you're like, well, you don't look like food, so yeah, we're just going to play with you for a bit.
It's all good, unless you're on a nudist beach and you're heavily tanned.
So now, have you ever wondered what the best statues are underwater?
No.
Well, luckily for you, we have a top 5 video you should check out. From the downright creepy to the inspiring, there are just some dive sites that you need to visit. Some of these statues have been placed there by artists to help coral grow, and some are sunken cities from Greek and Roman times. So you should definitely check out this video.
That's a good video. Yeah, it was fun to do, wasn't it? I didn't. James, the producer, edited that one, so it's a bit ropey. I love you really, James. So, stranded divers. 2 scuba divers were happily diving at 50 feet below the water, 8 miles from the Atlantic beach, where they both heard a loud popping noise. Thinking nothing of it, they carried on diving. But when they surfaced, it turned out their boat had drifted away. So it de-anchored itself, something snapped, something broke, and it was like, laters!
Oh dear.
Yeah. So they soon dropped their weight belts to help, obviously, with their buoyancy, and funnily enough, just waited for help. Luckily though, these divers work for the Coast Guard, so before they headed out, they'd marked on a map where they were going and for how long for, and obviously they messaged lots of people as well. So they actually messaged the local Coast Guard, their roommates, literally, they were like, right, this is where we're going to be, this is what we're doing. They actually did it the proper way, by the book, how it's meant to be done. While they were waiting, the Coast Guard sprung into action once the divers obviously didn't show up before dark. You know, they're a lot of time. And well after midnight, they were finally picked up by the Coast Guard. So they were out for a couple of hours. Yeah, just kind of just sat there waiting around. At one point, the tide started picking them up, and they were like, right, okay, if we go past this point, they're never going to find us.
Yeah.
So they were kind of trying to fight against that for a bit. And then luckily, well after midnight, a massive 47-foot boat or something, like lifeguard RNLI boat, or Coast Guard, it's not England, picked them up. So the boat though, luckily for them, the boat that obviously was like, laters, washed ashore the next day without any damage.
Nice.
So they were saved, they went happily diving, and the boat at the end of the day all picked up. So what that basically means, guys, it pays to be prepared.
Yeah, tell everybody where you're going.
Yeah.
How long you're going to be.
Yeah, it turned a scenario where they could have been, like we've heard before, many stories where they're out to sea for weeks or days, either dead or found alive, but partially alive, to waiting just a couple of hours, trying to stay where they were, obviously within reason, obviously, of currents and stuff. So to stay within that area, and yeah, they were found.
Yeah, and invest in a good anchor line.
Yeah. Don't just use a bit of shoelace string.
Not strong enough.
Yeah, no.
So remains of a World War II soldier has been found. So underwater archaeologists have found what they believe to be the remains of a United States soldier who was shot down in the Second World War. So the B-24 bomber was flying over Croatia when it was shot down. 10 men were on board, but only 7 were ever rescued. And 73 later, the plane has finally been found. So with 3 of the missing bodies on board. Of course, they only have found human bones, so nothing can be 100% confirmed as of yet. Although the wreck was found back in 2010, it's been impossible to bring the soldiers up to the surface until the survey had finished. You don't want to just dive in and
just put it in a bag. Yeah, no, you've got to map everything out just to make sure that everything's all right. Yeah, it's a cool story. So hopefully they can, if there's any families left, they can get the closure.
Yeah.
you know, and also as well another wreck to be mined, not mined. That'd be a bit weird. Either bring it up or leave it there. So then obviously have the remains removed, and then you know another dive site possibly for divers to explore.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it's cool. So missing plane found. Again, World War II is like 70 odd years later. It's coming up. So 74 years ago, a World War II bomber crashed into the ocean or off the coast of Malta. Luckily, the pilots were rescued by local fishermen, but the plane was never seen again. That was until now. 2 Cal Poly students who are helping map the area where the plane crashed actually came across the wreckage. So it's kind of like a project they've been doing. They've been teaming up with local guides and all that sort of thing, and local project to try and map this where this plane is, where this accident was. Right. The crane obviously crashed, and then then literally like let's switch it on. There it is.
There it is. Nice.
Yeah, so it was cool. So the plane itself was called the Fairy Swordfish. That's a very random name. And it sits under 6 meters of water. 60. I said 6 or 600. Well, 600. Yeah. Anyway, so 60 meters of water it sits down. Only a handful of these planes are still up and running today. So finding this plane is it's rare, and all the aviation historians are getting very excited about it. So the plan is now to scan the area some more, obviously, map the dive site pretty much like they did with the other story that we just mentioned about it, and then get as much information about the plane itself, and then possibly pull it out of its watery grave. Because the plane itself is so rare, they're going to want to pull it out and study it, and then put it on display.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Sticking with the Second World War, this one's about...
So half of today's ScubaTube is what happened 70 plus years ago. Okay.
So this one's about the bouncing bombs. So just in time for the 75th anniversary of the Dam Busters, divers are sort of bringing up a pair of bouncing bombs. So they've been lifted from a lock in Scotland. About 200 of these highballs, that was the
because they're not actual bombs, they're like prototypes, they're testing or dummies.
Yeah, I think there were 2 different versions. There were the ones that they had in the plane to actually kind of destroy the bridge or the dam even, and then this one was meant for use with the from aircraft to hit boats.
Yeah,
I think. So 200 of these highballs have just been at the bottom of Loch Striven in Argyll for 75 years, since they were used as prototypes and sort of practice for the Second World War plan. So divers from BZAC and Royal Navy divers lifted the 2 inactive bombs, and they were in surprisingly good condition, they stated. It was covered in mud and sort of marine crustaceans, but when it was cleaned off, it was perfectly preserved. They then go on to say that no one has seen one of these for the best part of 75 years, so it was quite emotional to see it close up. They use specialist equipment to lift the metal highballs out of the water and winch the systems to put it sort of up onto the boat. They're now soaking in specialized salt water so that they don't corrode as soon as they hit the oxygen.
You don't want to it's a mess. Oh dear.
And they're looking to sort of preserve them and try and find a new home for them in a museum. It was cool. There was a group of local BZAC divers that sort of went, they found them, they located and did all that, and then they went to the Royal Navy, and the Royal Navy actually lifted them.
Yeah, they would have to get. I'll be all right, mate. I've got some. Just ding ding. Be all right.
So that's it for this week's ScubaTube. The Diver Awards are now up and running, so please vote for us for Retailer of the Year. The link for that is below. We'd really appreciate a vote.
Yes, please.
Yes. Thanks for watching and safe diving, guys.
Bye.